remove flour, don't eat potatoes. Uh, Pasta is evil. Oh, my dog's gonna get it. Hey, you stop. No. God forbid you touch that bread. We all have opinions. So it is normal to have strong beliefs about certain things that are coming from common sense. And some things just don't need proof because they're logical, right? Like if you do crunches every day, you will lose belly fat. Logical? Maybe, but not true. When I was a teenager, I had a really good physique. I danced a lot, I was training, I walked a lot. I could afford to eat a whole chocolate bar before bed without any consequences on my waist. And when I entered uni and started working, I started building my career right up on my third year of university. Everything changed. Um, my schedule was intense. I ate at random times. I stressed out a lot, slept for 5 hours per night. I ignored all symptoms and signals that my body was sending me to tell me that something is wrong. So I got fat. And so I started trying all the magical tricks of fat loss, the crunches for belly fat and fasting and alternate eating, like 3 days of apples, 3 days of, what was it, buckwheat, 3 days of grapefruit, courtesy of my mom, who also was very concerned about weight loss and brought home all those amazing solutions. Anyway, obviously, none of that worked. I mean, just look at my face. Why? Because I believed in myth. Those are easy, inspiring, bringing hope. So maybe you will recognize some of those myths, maybe not, but I will share with you some of them. Let's go. Low carb diet, such as keto or the South Beach diet, Atkins diet, are frequently mentioned as a great choice for weight loss. Hello, Kaiju. However, randomized clinical trials could not support the enthusiasm for, clinically meaningful weight loss from low carb diets. And by the way, if you were curious to know, the the interest in low carb diets started with its adoption as a treatment of diabetes during the pre-insulin era, and nowadays it became a new favorite way to reduce body fat. It is important to note that there are plenty of studies that support very low carb diets for treatment of diabetes, so no one is canceling it entirely. But if you are a healthy person without any medical need to eliminate carbs from your diet and you really enjoy them, why make yourself miserable? Imagine you can only eat boiled eggs and avocado for breakfast, or lean breast chicken with broccoli for the rest of your lunches, zucchini noodles instead of normal pasta, cauliflower instead of potatoes, lettuce instead of bread. Come on. I went and looked up low carb recipes, and oh my God, scrambles with vegetables. That's it. Chia seeds and milk. You can't even have your avocado toast because there won't be a toast. These they look lean and healthy, but man, I will be hungry in like 10 minutes. Check out my breakfast. This one has 500 calories on my plate, 30 grams of protein, and keeps me full and happy. And the same story here. Nice whole grain toast pairs great with avocado, all the vegetables. This review in the Journal of Nutrition and Health and Aging shows that even though low carb diet can help you with fat loss short term, it eliminates nutritious foods leading to nutrient deficiencies. For example, fiber, which is carbs and crucial for gut health and cardiovascular health, function, may even be associated with higher risk of mortality over time, as well as bring in fatigue, inability to exercise, and other negative long-term health effects. Long-term studies show no significant advantage over balanced diet. So, why torture yourself when you can achieve better results by eating balanced? Eat anything you want, even cakes, just within your, you know, calorie budget set for the day, which, if you want to lose weight, should be set for the deficit temporarily. And then everybody will be happy. What makes you lose weight is being in calorie deficit, which I mentioned a million times, which means eating less calorie than you burn. It doesn't matter how you get there by removing carbs and their calories or by creating a balanced plate that has carbs, fats, proteins, but in total, still less than what your body burns. I definitely prefer to budget my desserts and burgers into my calorie deficit plan instead of blindly avoiding all carbs possible. Instead of alienating carbs or any type of food groups, really, shift your focus on the quality of the foods that contain carbs. For example, limit products with added sugar, including different sweets and cakes and pies, fast food, chips, pretzels, any type of snack, refined grains like anything instant, for example, instant oats, and instead prioritize complex carbohydrates like quinoa, rolled oats, legumes, whole grain bread, and pasta. Um, and please don't be afraid of potatoes and bananas. The notion that specific superfoods like grapefruit, kale, green tea, ginger, turmeric can accelerate weight loss is another oversimplification, let's say. No single food possesses magical fat burning properties, while nutrient rich foods, so the ones that are packed with macros and vitamins, minerals, and fibers, they contribute to overall health, and their impact on weight loss depends on the broader dietary context. For example, if you eat uh, deep fried chicken, loads of cheese, potatoes, I don't know, all this fried in 20 milliliters of oil, and you drop some kale into this, it will not help you burn fat. It won't. If you have your normal meal and swap your cake for a grapefruit, for example, or orange for that matter, that will help. Not only because it is less sugary as a treat, you know, after your food, less sugary than a cake, but also it is a very good source of vitamin A and C. So any whole food or whole grain you pick can be titled a superfood in the end, I think, in some way or another, because it does bring necessary nutrients to the table and requires more effort from your body to digest, meaning burn more calories doing so. So if you opt in for foods that satisfy hunger for longer, such as fibers and whole grains, you will be less likely to overeat, so more likely to maintain weight or even lose it. For example, avocados contain both fat and fibers. Um, because of this, it takes longer to digest, and also it has healthy monounsaturated fats, the kind you actually do want more in your diet. And while a whole thing, actually it's a berry, yeah, I didn't know that, can contain up to 300 calories depending on the size. Like this guy is probably even more. um, it doesn't mean you have to eat the whole thing in one sitting. In the meantime, it contributes vitamins, vitamin C, E, K, B2, B3, 5, 6, magnesium, copper, folate, and even a bit of protein and potassium, which apparently has been considered a nutrient of public health concern by the US Department of Health and Human Services. It is a mineral people commonly do not consume enough of. Now, half or even quarter of avocado already can provide with lots of goodies for your immune system, heart health, cognitive functions, and at the same time help you feel, just fuller for longer, thanks to fiber. And all you need to do is add it to your scrambled breakfast or spread it on your toast with some sprinkle of lemon juice, if you fancy, however you like it. If you swap your bacon slice for an avocado, um, you will do just a great favor to your body. And if you stay under your calorie balance, you'll also lose weight. That's what I call superfood. Broccoli. I don't have it today. Anyway, broccoli, rich in fiber and low in calories. You can't eat a ton of it, and yet, even 100 grams of cooked broccoli will help you stay full for so much longer. Same goes for really any green salad. And you can throw like a massive bowl, I don't know, 150 grams of green salad, and it will significantly reduce your hunger by the time you finish it, um, while almost having no calories. I always try to throw some, vegetables, lettuce. My favorite is actually rucola, into everything and anything. The trick here is to find a way to make it tasty for you. I don't know you, and I don't know what you like. So whatever I suggest you dress your broccoli into might not be a, good fit for you. And you'll be like, nah, she's talking bullshit. Of course, because I'm not you. I can't guess what your taste buds fancy. That's why you need to take a minute and maybe look over some recipes online and find complements to your vegetables that will satisfy your soul. So, for instance, I'm a big fan of blue cheese. And when I bake my broccoli and serve it with some pieces of blue cheese on it and garlic, yes, garlic. This is all I wanted to eat for weeks, I'm telling you. And you might be hating blue cheese and be like, the hell she's talking about mold in my food? And also, by the way, I like it really crunchy. So baking it in air fryer is my go-to. If the broccoli is soft and oily, I'll not touch it. So how do I know this? I tried it. I tried it all. And you should too if you want to find the way to turn the all hated vegetables into yummy side dish. Another example, I'm not a big fan of carrots, especially boiled. But when I decided to grate fresh carrots along with some apples and throw in some walnuts, then it became my favorite salad so far. Love it. So here we go. Fiber, good fat, some sweetness, and my soul is happy. Swap a salad with mayo for this, and you will definitely feel the difference on your waist soon enough. By the way, if you're curious about what small tweaks to your meals and daily routine you can make to trigger fat loss, check out my free 5 science-baked weight loss secrets. Those do not require dieting or gym, just practical tips to optimize your daily activities for fat burn. Link to enroll is in description. And also it comes with the 7 day high protein meal plan to save you some time. How many times have you seen someone exhausting themselves on the treadmill working so hard to lose fat? I mean, I froze because there's so many. um, what you don't see is that this person most likely goes home tired, exhausted, um, probably really exhausted, and very, very, and I mean very hungry, and probably eat way more than what they have just burned. It is very hard to get a calorie deficit for weight loss solely through cardio. So in 2011, a meta-analysis of 14 different studies with over 1,800 participants, I think, found that aerobic exercise was not an effective weight loss therapy for overweight or obese people. While cardio burns calories during activity, resistant training offers long-term metabolic benefits by increasing muscle mass. Muscles, the muscle tissue, is a metabolically active tissue, meaning that it burns more calories at rest compared to fat. In the long run, calories burned during strength training, plus increased calories burned at rest, all this brings us to higher calorie deficit overall. Also, when an untrained person starts doing cardio, that person can immediately see some promising results because their calorie expenditure has substantially increased. And after several weeks, that person may hit a weight loss plateau because their body has now adjusted to this new routine and doesn't have to put that much effort, aka burn as many calories, to sustain this new routine, which means this person needs to increase the intensity of their training. So the new training, and we're talking about running here, right? This new training routine would be longer and more intense than before. And this story really never ends because your body keeps adapting. So at some point now, your 30 minutes cardio will turn into 1.5 hour run uphill. I don't know. And can you really sustain that level of activity every day just to be in calorie deficit? It is very exhausting. You spend enormous amount of energy on this type of training and you feel extremely hungry after that. But you have to remember that you have to keep, this calorie deficit as well. You can't just eat more because you're hungrier, um, which might lead to overcompensating, overeating your daily calorie budget. And then all this effort is for nothing. Don't get me wrong, cardio is amazing. It's great for overall health and your well-being. And you should definitely, absolutely, you should incorporate it into your training routine. And performing aerobic exercise and stimulating cardiovascular system helps your heart, the blood vessels and lungs healthy. It can also reduce fatigue, improve energy levels, improve your sleep, reduce stress, anxiety. But if the goal is weight loss, cardio is just not sustainable. In fact, I'm going to be a party pooper here and, and say that exercise alone, any exercise, is not an effective strategy for weight loss. It's not as effective strategy for weight loss as watching what you eat and how much you eat. This is because it is easy to overestimate how many calories you burned during the exercise because we really don't know for sure. It's just an estimate. And it's also easy to underestimate how many calories you eat after exercising and during the day in general, especially if you do not track them in grams, like in the app, because then you don't know. Measuring the amount of macros and calories by the app will just give you, random number, random result, and this is all just going to be based on guesswork. Okay, enough about the set training routine. Let's move to the next myth. So I had this friend of mine in uni who was jumping in 1 week long crunches obsession to lose weight, specifically from her belly, like every other month. And back then, I was wondering if it was going to work. It didn't. Um, Considering that she didn't do anything else for her weight loss except crunches. Today, I can tell you 100% surely and certainly that doing a muscle group specific exercise will not shed fat specifically in that one zone. Working a dedicated muscle group means exactly that. You work the muscle. It will get bigger, stronger if you're doing it right, but it does not preferentially eliminate overlaying fat. The muscle, they grow under the fat, and the fat is still there. So this myth persists because of wishful thinking and actually pretty clever marketing. Think about all those apps promising you flat belly in 7 days or seven pack, no, six pack, 7 pack, weird, 6 pack ready for summer. I don't know, a thigh slimming workout. Anyway, they all prey on just normal human desire to achieve result quickly. That's us as human. Uh, so fat loss, it occurs systematically, meaning once you enter calorie deficit and receive less calories than you burn, the fats will start to go away everywhere from your body. Now, of course, we're all different and with different hormones, genetics, activity levels, even gender and age plays the role in how we gain and lose weight. And so we all have our special zones, that hold on to fat for a little bit longer. And for a lot of people, losing weight from belly or hips is the most challenging thing, and it goes last. When I was on my weight loss journey, it was going away steadily, more or less, and I dropped about 7 centimeters on my waist, 7 centimeters on my hips, and around 8 and 7 centimeters on thighs, respectively. So, um, yeah, the thigh, they were never the same. It's weird. Um, but I know plenty of people who were losing quite a lot in their waist, but for example, not that much on the hips. The cheeks usually the ones that go first. Anyway, all this to say is you can't pick and choose from which part of the body the weight will go first. Back to crunches. Here's a study that was exploring exactly that. Can abdominal exercise reduce abdominal fat? After 6 weeks of ab training alone, the group didn't have any change in their belly fat. However, they did improve muscular endurance compared to the control group, the one that didn't do anything. This is, of course, a very small study and with a small number of participants, but it's really not the only one. Here is another example. A randomized clinical trial that examined effect of diet alone and diet paired with abdominal exercises for fat loss. And you probably already guessed where I'm leading with this. Both groups, they lost weight, some weight because they were in a calorie deficit, but with almost no difference between doing crunches or not doing crunches. So here is a more recent systematic review with meta-analysis of 13 studies that concluded the same thing. Localized muscle training has no effect on localized adipose tissue depot. Now, the good news is that you can still build those toned arms and a six-pack. It is just the strategy to get there will be slightly different. If you combine calorie deficit with resistance training, especially focusing on this desired specific area, after some time you will notice more defined outline. How this works? While calorie deficit will shed the fat everywhere, including the desired zone, the training will sculpt the muscles that will be visible because there will be less fat covering it. Now I'm ready to move to the next myth. So I believe for a very long time that if I eat late, inevitably the fat will stick to my ass. Yeah, for real. So that's a myth. If you know what your daily calorie budget is, meaning how many calories you're supposed to eat to not gain weight or not lose weight, um, just maintain your weight at the same level, then it doesn't matter how you spread those calories out. Now, the weight gain associated with late night snacking is linked to eating mindlessly. When a person decides to finish a bag of chips at midnight after, a good steak dinner, that inevitably leads to exceeding your daily calorie norm. The key here is to understand why that person needs to eat that late. Wasn't the dinner fulfilling enough, or maybe it's stress related, maybe it's boredom. So, to summarize, total daily caloric intake matters more than timing. There's nothing wrong with eating a light healthy snack after dinner, as long as you plan for it as a part of your daily calorie budget. To be honest, I still don't eat after 8 p.m., but not because of weight gain concerns. Just going to bed with a full stomach makes it harder for me to fall asleep. It affects my quality of sleep. So, to each their own. Choose what works for you. Fear of all fats. Another macro demon, fat, which was alienated in weight loss world for quite some time. However, not all fats are made equal. And the good fats actually are very important to your body's survival. We need a certain amount of fat to function. And some of those, we can't make them from scratch. So fats, they act as our long-term energy storage, providing a reserve when we need it. They also insulate us, helping maintain body temperature and protect our, vital organs by cushioning them. Beyond this, fats are crucial for cellular communication, acting as a messenger and assisting proteins in their work. They also regulate key metabolic processes influencing growth, immune function, reproduction, and just generally metabolism. Finally, fats are essential for absorption and storage of vitamins. For example, vitamin A, D, E, because our body cannot absorb those without the help of fat. So, avocado, almonds, peanuts, pistachio, cashews, olive oil are all sources of monounsaturated, which is good, fat. Fatty fish like mackerel or salmon, sunflower oil, sunflower seeds, sesame. They all are the sources of polyunsaturated fats. Also good. But rushing after quick wins without proper understanding the role of fats in our bodies, marketers popularized low fat diets and dominated weight loss world for decades, putting all fats in one bad stuff basket, uh, telling you to fear them, which in turn cause more damage to your health and less weight lost from your body. And I mean, yeah, why trying to explain the science and bother picking out exaggerated and trans fats from your food when you can just remove all the fats, right? Once more, healthy fats are essential for hormone production and nutrient supply. For example, our body cannot produce essential acids like omega 3 and omega 6. That's why we need to get it from food, the one that has polyunsaturated fat. To the contrary, low fat products often replace fats with sugars and artificial sweeteners and additives to maintain taste and texture, which literally undermines their perceived health benefits and mess with your fat loss. Because the shift contributes to higher calorie consumption overall and insulin spikes and even more hunger. So, this meta analysis of 53 weight loss studies with almost 70,000 people concluded that low fat diets are no more effective than high fat diets for long term weight loss. Same as with carbs or any other single product, elimination. It is important to shift the focus from a single nutrient towards the overall pattern of eating. Just because it is low carb or low fat, it doesn't mean it is low calorie or that it is healthy. What is healthy is a menu with all macronutrients balanced in one plate. It is not sexy, but this is what works. And of course, I can't just leave without mentioning the bad fats, aka trans fats, um, which are mostly artificially created through an industrial process that adds hydrogen to liquid vegetable oil to make it more solid. Um, Long shelf life, pretty cheap to manufacture. Um, no wonder you can find those in processed foods and fried foods like deep fried chicken and store-bought pie, or refrigerated dough, margarine, any type of fat snacks, and of course, fast food. Saturated fats can also be found naturally in meat and dairy from cows, sheep, goats. But the scientific conclusion is that moderate intake of these fats are not harmful. The artificial ones, though, pure evil. Trans fats increase your bad LDL cholesterol while lowering your good HDL cholesterol. They clog arteries, increasing the risk of heart diseases, stroke. They promote inflammation and generally linked to almost um, 300,000 deaths every year globally, according to WHO. And while small portions once in a blue moon won't kill you, it is definitely recommended to limit or best remove processed and ultra processed foods from your diet. Also, keep in mind that when you're cooking with oil at a very high heat, a small amount of trans fat is also released. So, it's better to avoid super high temperatures when you're cooking. And I personally stopped using oil on my pan at all. Okay, I said it. Let's move on. True, but not true. Let me explain. When you are on a calorie deficit for weight loss, it's all about eating less than you burn. Um, to this extent, yeah, the math is very simple. It doesn't matter what calories you eat as long as you stay within your calorie budget, and you will see the results. Now, uh, it matters what calories you eat to how you're going to feel and also how fast you're going to be hungry again. Where those calories are coming from is still important because the food is also nutrients, and different nutrients make you feel differently. Let's say you're hungry and you can eat something for something worth 200 calories. If you eat 100 grams of baked chicken breast, you will get approximately 200 calories and 30 grams of protein. This can keep you full for quite some time because protein is very satiating macronutrient. Now, let's match those 200 calories to potato chips. So if you take 200 calories of potato chips, um, it will actually look like 37 grams of chips. Not much, yeah. um, and with those, you get only 2 grams of protein and 18 grams of carbs and, you know, trans fats. Now, that will probably keep you full for like 10 minutes and you will start craving for more right after that. Uh, you got the same amount of calories from both foods, but one kept you full long and the other one just make you even hungrier, which will obviously cause you to, grab some more and overeat the established the daily calorie budget, the number that you're supposed to eat per day. Choosing products that are nutrient dense and satiating, so they contained healthy fats, rich in protein and fiber, or at least have some complex carbs, will control sugar spikes and help you feel full for longer without risk of overeating. Processed foods high in refined sugars and saturated fats are digested very quickly, trigger rapid insulin spikes, and fail to make you feel full. Uh, Also, they don't really provide any value to your body, which leaves you hungry again for more. And that is exactly why people say that not calories are created equal. Eating balanced meals that contain 30% of proteins, 30% of fats, 40% of carbs with loads of fiber will ensure you don't feel hungry sooner than your next planned meal and keep you away from snacking and overeating, which will make the calorie deficit feel so much easier because you're not going to starve and you won't crave for snacks. If you have enough willpower to keep your calorie deficit while eating foods that make you hungry, well, that's your choice. But it will also have some side effects on how your body functions because not only you're limiting yourself with calories, aka energy, but also with important nutrients that actually make your body work like a clock. Some might think, well, I eat less than I burn, I lose weight. So logically, if I eat as little as possible, I will lose even more weight and faster. Logically, yes, but our bodies are built for survival. And so when the calories are drastically cut, it triggers physiological adaptation to this new amount of fuel that the body receives. It starts to reduce the amount of calories it burns to conserve the energy, um, all of which will slow down your weight loss because, well, that's the last thing your body can be bothered with. Survival is at stake, remember? Its objective is to keep the body functioning. So it preserves or even gains fat because it doesn't know when the next time you will get enough food. The good news, there's no such thing as metabolic damage. It is simply a process of your body's adaptation to new regime. There are plenty of studies that showed that after a person goes back to their energy balance, so eating as many calories as they burn to maintain their normal weight, their metabolism returns to normal, or maybe with a little bit of fluctuations. This means slow and mindful calorie reduction, um, 5 to 15% from your balance, is much more efficient way to lose weight and keep the new body. Okay, all right. Those are the myths I could remember. However, if you've heard of some that I didn't mention in this video, please do share them with me in comments to the video. And also, don't fall into the trap of modern or not so modern dieting traps. Weight loss, unfortunately, is very clear and boring. It is a combination of balanced nutrition within mindful calorie deficit, regular physical activity, and taking care of your sleep and stress levels. No magical fat burning superfoods or other make believe activities. It's about understanding your body, making sustainable changes, and focusing on what actually works. So, to recap, carbs aren't the enemies. Focus on quality and balance. Um, no single food can burn fat, but nutrient dense foods like avocados, broccolis can keep you um, full for longer, and also support your overall health. Cardio is great for your heart, but focusing on resistance training and calorie deficit together is the key to fat loss, also with complementary cardio trainings. Fat reduction is a myth. Fat loss happens systematically, not just in one area. Crunches won't magically melt belly fat, but a calorie deficit with strength training will help you sculpt the body of your dreams. Late night eating won't make you fat. It's about total calories, but not the timing. Just be mindful of why you eat late at night and also track how it feels, how it affects your sleep. Not all fats are bad. Healthy, unsaturated fats like those in nuts and avocados and fatty fish are essential for your body. On the flip side, trans fats found in processed foods and any packaged foods are harmful and better be avoided. All calories are not created equal. Nutrient dense foods keep you fuller for longer and support your health in general, while processed foods can leave you hungry and crave for more snacks and treats. Now, I understand that doing this whole sustainable weight loss thing can be overwhelming, especially if you do it all at once. That's why I created a 5 day challenge, which is a science baked weight loss challenge with small, practical changes to your daily routine that can kickstart your weight loss journey without drastic measures. So there's no gym, no strict dieting, just science-based tweaks to optimize your metabolism. The link to enroll is in description below. Try it out. Um, and I will see you in the next video.